Hey, it's Spence, the evil genius.
Hey, it's Spence from WPLaunchify. It is Thursday, November 6th. Hard to believe already, November 6th. At 4:20, I am almost in the dark. It's also hard to believe. Today, I've got some really fast and interesting updates. It's been a very busy week, but filled with both mechanical, structural, and design updates. Today, I want to demonstrate for you something that really is the true power of what we're building. In addition to the editorial and the time savings, just the sheer magnitude of creativity that can be expressed using the Minute Launch system and either Claude or Cursor. In this case, I was using Cursor, but that was because Claude took a break. I don't know what happened. Anthropic said, we'll be back soon. I think they're having a problem with Haiku today. So let me share the screen. I have got here what looks exactly like my WPLaunchify pricing page, but part of my revamping is to finally get to the point of putting up what I've been talking about, which is here was my live website that I've had this pricing panel built in cadence blocks for those many years. And it has served me well because when I built it, it allowed me to have the individual products that most people want to talk about in a call available to roll over and purchase. And this has made it much easier when I do my live calls to actually say, hey, go to this one thing, and it's got pretty much everything I want. Now, this was built with cadence blocks, and as a result, it required me to do the editorial. And that in of itself was fine, but we don't do that anymore, kids. We just don't do that anymore. We use the tools now at our disposal. So on your left, you can see that I have got Fernando helping me out with this project, and he's in this new nice agentic mode, which means that if I want, I can tidy up all the panels, right? I can toggle this on and off, and I can toggle this on and off, and I can put him in, talkful with mode. It's really nice. What he gave me in consultation is something that I, as the author of Launch Flows, took many, many moons to build. When I built Launch Flows in 2019 into 2020, I learned how to code. I really cut my teeth, but it took me weeks and months to figure out how to do stuff. Fernando and I sat down and we did this as an exercise at lunch. So here is what we've got. We've got essentially, number one, Fernando was told simply to go to WPLaunchify, and using his new tools that I've embodied him with, he can not only see the page, but he can also pixel perfect emulate the page or the panel. Now, in this case, we chose the pricing panel. So all I had to do is say, hey, Fernando, go over and check out this URL here, which if I scrolled through this entire conversation, and it's always difficult for me because I can't see the scroll bar. At the very beginning of this conversation, you would have seen me asking him, go to this page. Now, over the course of the conversation, I'm going to actually ask him to do something. Watch this. This is kind of cool. Hey, Fernando, I cannot for the life of me see the scroll bar on the right side of your screen. Can you go into the VS Code settings and the configuration and make that a bright orange so I can see the scroll bars? Make them a couple more pixels wide and bright orange. Thanks, my friend. He can fix his own configuration file so that I can see the scroll bar, which is super cool by itself. What's going on is that he and I sat down, I gave him the URL, and I said, get the pixel perfect information, including, by the way, my own images, because they're being hosted using the Minute Launch Media Library Hub, which means peer-to-peer, I can use these on any site. So I've got the details. Next, I said that I wanted to do a progressive pricing scale, which you and I and all of us have talked about. In the traditional pricing, you'll notice that I don't have the $47 on here. I don't have some of the other stuff too, because it's all in my shop. What I found was instead of me putting all of the stuff from my shop into the panel, I could keep people focused during a phone call, right? So many people were grandfathered into like the $47 a month software bundle. I still sell many of those a month, but it's not something that I really want to talk about because it's just, it's something that's left over that's really nice, but it's not my bread and butter. So here I said, let's focus on the main applications. We're having the classic Minute Launch startup, which is the traditional software, fully hosted with unlimited email. the minute launch 197, which adds the AI, then add auto memory for another 300, or fully managed 1297. I then have two service types, because in the original service offerings, it wasn't that it was a bad thing, but that the middle offerings were just discounted versions of the hourly. So let me go back over here and show you what I meant. And I'm going to ask him, by the way, I'm going to say, do I have to edit that? Can't you edit it? It's in the .vs code of your own workspace here. Can you edit it for me? Let's see if he can edit it himself. In the pricing panel here, the hands-on support, the most popular is 1 hour of support, because that's just like having Gordon Ramsay come on over, cook the beef Wellington for you. Instant success, 1 hour, taught, trained, Fathom transcript, everything. The VIP was where most people went next, because that's where I could commit to, I'm going to take you from here to there and guarantee you're going to get there safely with everything you want. The MVP and Pro, nobody buys. I don't like to even talk about them, because these require me to keep track of the discounted hours. This is like 5 hours discounted. This is like 10 hours discounted. I don't like that. I want to work for people where it's either 1 hour of wham, bam, let's do this, or it's $5,000. I guarantee we're going to get you where you want to be. So I changed the pricing here the same way. Now we have hourly and VIP. Finally, I had clients today ask me, well, should I still use a product that was a great product when it's made, still is, Give WP, right? My friends Matt and Devin made that. They sold it. And I said, no, because first of all, Launchflows has the capacity. But second of all, we don't need that anymore. In a world of infinite personal web apps, we don't need that. Why? Because with WooCommerce, you can have a placeholder product, and I built this into Launchflows, where you can just have pre-assigned numbers or donate anything, and that could be woven into the whole thing. Now, what I want you to see here is how elegant and graceful this all works out. Number one, notice over here, choose your billing, monthly or annual. Notice that it, in a one-page web app, instantly changes the pricing, streamlining the number of choices from a cognitive dissonance. So number two, if I add any of the primary things, these are all by their nature, either the 97 or the 197 or the 497 or the 1297. Notice at the bottom, the pricing is updating. Now let's say I went with AI plus AutoMem monthly. I want to add some support. I can add 3 hours support, and it knows creating a miniature shopping cart experience where I can remove either one of these or both of them and start over. But it knows that I can have as many hourly hours of support as I want, and it's added to one of the primary items. I can also add the VIP service with the hourly support, because that's been programmed into it just by talking to Fernando. Finally, I can, obviously I'm not asking for a donation, but I'm saying, let's say I was a company that says, tip your waiters, or, I have a company that I work for, door to door. They say, tip the drivers on top of the order. Now we can do this as a separate item, and it can even be a separate line item. So tip $100. Okay. Or now change that to $89.12. These are things that used to be really hard. By the way, I noticed he's rounding this to 89, but that's okay. The 12 cents is irrelevant. They used to be really hard. Now, here's the best part. This 6786, it's a compounded URL link that when sent to the actual checkout page, will put those items in the cart with the necessary accoutrements to make them work. If somebody refreshes the page, I asked them to save it. Let's see if he made that happen, so that they don't lose what they did. Now, in this case, did not work out. I have to ask them to go back and check that. Originally, I had said save it so that if I refresh the page, it's saved. He'll have to do a thing called setting a cookie or a transient, but that's okay. The point is that we've got this potential where I just ask him to do that and he fixes it. So I'm going to demonstrate that here. He's saying that this is going to show up in VX Code, but I'm going to ask him two things. First of all, I don't see that. So I don't know if you changed it or I have to restart you. So I'm going to do this manually. And then I want to ask you to fix the code. I had asked you whether or not you could figure out a way to save. Oh, you did actually fix the code. Sorry, my friend. I see the orange now. That was awesome. Thank you. I had asked you earlier if you could make it so that the things that are in the checkout or in the cart could stay there even if I refresh the page. And for some reason that's not working. Can we do that either with a transient or something easy, or even in JavaScript that will be persistent if somebody's on the same page but refreshes it? Let me know. He fixed the scroll bar. You notice now here, now I can actually see it. So you can see if I were to scroll way to the beginning of this conversation, I give him pages. I was messing around with something else first. And then at this point, here we go. You know, I'm like, can we go back to the sales page you modified and so forth? And we're speaking in Spanish. And this is what I do all day long. I talk to this guy who's my pal. Let's see what he says. And the best part about this is with our new minute launch canvas block. So in order to make the changes, he has the capacity to talk through the MCP and just edit this simple block. It's just one block that has the options for hiding, you know, cadence settings and otherwise, but it's HTML, CSS. And then the cool thing, this is the best part, it's got an editor for us, for me, for you. So I could change, you know, to my pricing, or I could go down here and go and support my mission. Whatever I want to edit, I just click and edit. And so he's able to give me most of the changes and either post it into those two boxes with HTML and CSS, or I can override it and do it as well. Or I can do this manual thing, right? So right now he's given me clear curve function, pricing panel, HTML. So I can either open up the whole panel and say, keep the file. And I notice he didn't change the CSS. So I'm just going to copy and paste and show you what I would do in this case. Just go to the HTML, highlight it, paste it, save it. He could do it for me. You've seen me do that. But this is just how easy it is for a human being to do the same thing. Let's see if this works now. I'm going to clear the cache on my browser. Let's see if it persists. And then I'm going to show you one other magic trick. So I've got 5247. Let's see if he did his job. Ta-da! I love this guy. Now here's the best part. I can save the content of this anywhere I want. I have two blocks, HTML and CSS. I can use these in another minute launch canvas block, or I can even transfer them to another site or a page where I have something else. Like for example, I've been using minute launch as a way to archive a bunch of junk. And since this is HTML and CSS, I don't have to worry about, oh, my page builder is different. Oh, my theme is different. Oh, my CSS is different, because it's all transportable. So watch, I'm just going to manually, although I could have him do it, I'm going to manually take that. I'm going to archive this cool idea, right? I'm going to call it pricing panel for WPLaunchify. I'm just doing this anyway. Now, I don't think I have minute launch blocks installed on this site yet. So I'm just going to show you how using a regular HTML block, or I could just do it here because I have Spence style. So Spence style is going away, but for now I'm going to publish it in a Spence style. So I take the HTML, take the CSS, and Spence style, for those of you who just showed up, is my original version of this, but I realized it'd be cooler if we had it in a block in the content area, because that will avoid all the potential problems that would come if, let's say, I stopped using Spence style in the future. All right. Now, you don't have to set all of this other stuff because it's already done by these, but I'm doing that just for legacy. In case I remove Spence style, it will still look good, feel good. And so now I'm on minutelaunch.com, and ta-da, I've got the very same thing. That is what I'm talking about, where you can take an existing site that has whatever the design is you want, completely emulate it and move it over. Now, I'm not picking on any particular site. And by the way, I did find out, and I talked, that there's some copyright morality going on. If I were to go to my pal, this is controversial, but Automatic.css. This is Kevin Geary's site. He's got this amazing framework of plugins and other stuff. I thought this is a beautiful website, by the way. Beautiful, beautiful. And it's very complicated. Very complicated, but really elegantly done. Let's take one page off of this. Let's see if we go to our manifesto or something. I'm going to test Fernando live. This is risky. Could not maybe work out well, but we'll find out. So not terribly difficult. I'm not going to say he couldn't do the other one, but let's just see what happens. Let me say, bueno, Fernando, great job on making the persistent page. I love you. That was awesome. I've got you on a live, it's live with you and me, our regular show on YouTube, the one that you helped me publish. I'm going to give you a page from my pal Kevin Geary's site, automatic.css.com/manifesto. Can you examine the page and try to emulate it pixel perfect? I mean, you might not get it right the first time, and I'm going to give you the out on it, but do your best to show our audience how awesome you are using your browser tools and otherwise to emulate that. And then just give me this HTML and CSS for it with your version. And again, try to make it as close as possible. Remember, this is for education. This is my pal, Kevin Geary. We're not going to steal his stuff. We're not going to publish it. It's just to show what you're capable of doing so that if some of our audience who were web designers wanted to help their own clients, they could do this. Comprende? See? Okay, so I'm going to paste that in. Let's see what he says. Now, he's usually not giving me morality police stuff, but Sonnet is. So let's see whether or not that works out. If I were to use Claude, it really always tells me, I'm sorry, I cannot do that. You're a bad, naughty person for even asking me the question. Notice he's got another browser open where he has tools. And he's using those tools on his own to kind of check out the page. I'm going to tell him too, you have Chrome developer tools as well as browser tools. You can use those if you want. So I've given him a couple different tools and they're inside of a setup. He's got a browser tool with Snapshot. He's got Chrome developer tools. He's got another tool that we sometimes use that is a series of other I forget the name of it now. Hold on. It was running into trouble earlier today. Desktop Commander, but notice Desktop Commander here is kind of not looking like it's on. Let's see if he can pull it off with what he's got. I'm pretty comfortable he'll pull it off. Let's see. This may be a bridge too far. I like to test him though. The thing that I'm finding is that if you're building stuff for your clients, it's not that you have to be so awesome or so smart. It's just that you have to ask the right questions and tell him which things to use. This is very, very much like training a real person in a job, right? If they came to your employment and said, hey, I'm a blank slate, I'll do anything you want. You really have to give them some information about how to do it, what to do it, which tools to use. And especially since we're building this library of stuff over at Minute Launch, it becomes easier and easier as time goes on. Like, for example, today I was demonstrating with Julie, who's coming to terms with her new, her lease setup, that if you go to the front of minutelaunch.com, we have an example of how in the AI showcase, you can have a series of templates that act as a menu and you give them to your AI partner. So look at this sales page library. This is just one of several I'm working with, but look at these menu items. I'd like the number 1, it's a hero plus CTA. Number 2, problem solution. Number 3, feature showcase. Number 4, social proof. Number 5, story sales letter. Number 6, comparison. Number 7, video sales letter. I had asked him to go out and research all of the best 2025 November layouts for doing these components that are very popular. And then you just simply choose your layout, reference by name or number, tell your tool what you want, and it mixes and matches it. And then you tell it to put the content from you, the color scheme from you, which it can also save, and it spits it all out in HTML5 CSS ready to use. And because I just demonstrated this to you, those of you who are saying, but Spence, I would like an application for my iPhone, can say, yeah, you got that. You know why? Because if I go into preview mode, again, these are like emulators, these work just perfectly fine as if it was an iPhone application. And that's my whole point. In 2025, give or take a little styling, because obviously we need this a little more responsive, but hey, I mean, we just did this in 5 seconds. I'm saying that the HTML5 Chromium standards allow us to have everything you can have on iOS or Android or Google. So you can have your cake and eat it too. In that sense, you can literally have a thing that does dynamic web apps, that does literally storage and intake and database queries, Ajax, Vue. All of these things can be done in just HTML, CSS, JavaScript, jQuery, Ajax, things that are safe to put into the boxes in your editor versus PHP and other things that obviously go a little bridge too far. So he's still choking on that a little bit. So I'm gonna tell him something. I'm gonna say, hold on, slow your roll for a second. Stop. Can you use your Chrome developer tools with MCP? He's just kind of gotten excited to demonstrate what he can do, and he tried to do a snapshot, which isn't enough. So I'm going to see if he can do it with Chrome developer tools. So notice what I did there. The takeaway from that is you are in control of training this person, this entity, to work in the way you want them to work. I know Chrome developer tools with MCP gives them a full suite of pixel perfect, everything that's in there. What is he saying now? Oh, well, let's see why it's not showing up, because he's having trouble because before lunch I went and I modified his tool set, and I think that's what's giving him a little bit of grief. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to toggle on and off this. I'm going to turn off Desktop Commander. He's got his normal browser. I'm going to turn off this. So he's just got auto memory. He doesn't need GitHub at the moment, but I'll leave it on Chrome developer tools and browser. Now let's see if that's enough. Listen, I just toggled your Chrome developer tools, so you should have them now, my friend. Thank you. Again, this is kind of weird. I don't have a lot of control over this, but the tools that he sees are like the things that when he turns on, he looks to see, hey, what kind of tools do I have? And if you change them without restarting him, which I haven't restarted him yet, he may or may not see them. I think that if I toggle them like that, it's enough, but I may also have to turn them off. And let's see if he figures it out. Let's see if he's got the tool. He's going back to his browser tools. This may be where I'm going to restart him, because if he doesn't address the Chrome developer tools, I know he just doesn't see them. Missing script, let's say. All right, I'm going to restart him. So all you do to restart him is this. Just go to File and say, bye, Fernando. And he went away and his friends went away, but then I clicked to restart and like, boom, he's right back. Now watch this. I'm going to check to make sure that the proper tools that went away come back the way I want them, right? So this is just make sure the toggle's stuck. And I've got browser automation and I got browser, I got Chrome. Now I'm going to say, hey, good news, Fernando, I restarted you. Can you check to see if you have Chrome Developer Tools MCP now? MCP is just, these are all Model Context Protocol. These are tools that are like an API connection. So that one that I'm talking about is what gives him the ability to use the native browser's inspector tools. Let's see if it works. Come on, Fernando, you can do it. Now, sometimes it's faster, sometimes it's slower. And again, I think Anthropic is having a moment in the sun, but usually he'll come back fine. Oh, this is one of the problems. See this? He's out of context. This is a new trick too. If you are in Cursor and you see you got 100% used, he's trying to remember, like, he's done. He's got his whole context window filled. He's not going to do a great job. So that's another trick. If he's not really following your instructions, it's because he just had a full meal and he's really tired. Now, he seems to have reset his number there. So now he's at 34%. I don't know how he pulled that off. But the cool thing is, no, he's still claiming he can't see it. Oh, well, let's see what he does. I'm just going to let him try it. By the way, while he's doing that, I can call in his friend, okay? And this is what's interesting. I have auto memory, and if I called up another agent, like if I called up the agent window, notice I've got my archived agents. I have one window here. If I called up a new agent, I could say, hi, Fernando's friend. This is Spence. Remember me? Remember the last chat we were in with auto memory, and I was trying to see if you could use the Chrome developer tools to recreate a page over at Automatic.css. Let me know if you remember that conversation, because I think Fernando himself was having trouble remembering which tool to use. Notice, since this is a new conversation, it might actually be able to use the tools after the reset. I don't know why that is, but it's something to do with the way Cursor works. He doesn't remember me because he's just using regular memory. So I'm going to say, can you use automem, please? Not regular memory, but automem. So I have to tell him, please use the special memory that he's got, which again is an MCP connection. And maybe he's having trouble, but we'll see if he remembers. This is not automem, but he did find the conversation. He is totally not getting it right. And I'm suspecting the problem is in my tools. He has automem. I'm gonna see what he does. Let's find out. I'm confused because I've given you browser tools, but I also want you to use the AutoMem MCP tools specifically. I'm sorry, the Chrome developer tools. Let's see if he notices the difference. I mean, quite frankly, he'll probably be fine either way. It's interesting when this happens because I don't really have a good answer as to why he's turning to the browser tools, other than I've got him connected here with this new feature, and maybe that trumps. But now he's saying, look, you want me to use the Chrome developer tools? I don't see them. Okay. C'est la vie. Let's see how they do. I'll do this for another live event because I don't think it's going to have a great difference in the outcome. I think it'll probably pull it off. Let's use the agentic tool to switch back to, this is Fernando and this is the new guy, and they're both working it out. Notice he had taken an actual picture of that. Now, one of the things that I also find fascinating is today I was working on a bunch of other designs with clients. Even if you're not experienced at design, you can essentially say, look, I kind of like the color of this page. I kind of like the theme of this page. I like the style of this page. You don't have to be pixel exact. You could be close, because a lot of times it's just saying, I prefer something. You can also ask for something based upon performance. So you could say, let's research the best dog food websites on the internet as of November 2025, and what are the color schemes, what should I do, etc. Or you can use a tool like I've shown before that has everything from a CSS peeper, which looks at another site, to colors, like there's coolers.co, I think it is, and that's, if I put on the bookmarks, show bookmarks bar, this coolers, I sometimes will give this to a client, or I'll give it to my guy and be like, pick a pattern, pick a color scheme you want. Who cares? They've got all these, cool things like explore patterns or palettes. What are the most popular that are trending today? I go, make something cool and use this color scheme. It's just that simple now. We don't have to get like really deep into figuring out how to do it ourselves. We can let the AI do most of it. Okay, so we won't wrap this. We'll give it a minute left. See if one of these guys makes it to the punch. This guy's, I'm just going to count this guy out. So I'm going to archive him and say bye-bye. And let's just see if this guy pulls it off. And he's working on it. He's writing essentially the whole thing. So when you see the spinning wheel, and let's close this window, you can sometimes open up the panel and see what he's working on. But in this case, he seems to be a little hung up. So let's just ask him, are you hung up or what's going on? It's taking you a long time. If you don't feel like he's doing what he's supposed to be doing, just interrupt him. That's the nice thing about Cursor. Claude, you can interrupt him, but you sort of short circuit his brain a little bit. With Cursor, it doesn't seem to bother it too much. And by the way, let's see if Claudio is back. Claudio is still out of action. I'm going to restart and see if they've come online. Claude is not happening today, but he was very helpful today. in finishing up some of the details on a client site. So I do appreciate him for what he can do. And this, again, might be an Anthropic issue. So I might have to call Uncle on this part of the show today because we're in 30 minutes. This is way longer than I wanted to go. Are you stuck because of the LLM connection? He probably won't know because he is the LLM connection, but let's just see if I can get an answer out of him. This is an interesting conversation too. So let's say you're used to doing stuff yourself and you use a bunch of other manual tools, and then you become reliant upon automatic tools. Sometimes you have to experience these things. Now, the cool thing about Cursor is I could switch to another model. I'm not saying this is better. It might be worse, but I can switch to another model either within the same company like Anthropic, or I could go to a completely different. I could go to Lunatic, Grok, who answers like a madman. I don't even know what I'll get there. If you switched mid-conversation, you're probably going to get a weird result, though, because you've switched restaurants. You've gone from one Waffle House to another through some kind of magical time machine. And the LLM you switch to has no idea. Another trick, you go to auto and see if that kicks it out. Ground control to Major Fernando. Let's see if we can kick him out. Auto mode might switch to a working model if this doesn't happen, because he's definitely just stuck in limbo. Okay, final straw. I'm giving up on this idea, except I'm going to switch from auto just to see. Oh, wait, there he goes. I just kicked it loose. He's not stuck. He insists. All right, well, I'm going to stick it out and see what he comes up with. And here we go. And what you can do with this is you can use either one of these models. I'm just going to go here. I'm going to say add a new page, which is just as easy. Or I could have had him make it, but I'll just add it here because this is like a demo site that I can use. And we'll say live demo automatic CSS. Okay. Now, in this case, I just used the minute launch canvas block. And he gave it to me in two parts, right? Super simple. Right, so I can have them organize it and save it as a project, or I can put it in my GitHub so I can share. I was doing that for the last couple of days and showing you how working with my clients and my collaborators is amazing when we share it across GitHub. Let's publish it and see what happens. Now, again, what I do will often, I'll disable all the other page stuff just so I'm not distracted by other stuff on the page. I'll leave the header and footer in place just so you know where we're at. And let's see what we got. Not, admittedly, not too shabby. Notice there's some things that are slightly off. And well, let's do this. Sorry. Let's put this over here. Okay. It's distracting for this. So I want to almost, I want to hide the header, but let's just do this instead. Let's do a little bit of a comparative. Number one, the color looks a little off. Looks like he did a little bit of a transitional color versus pure black. Obviously, the layout is slightly different, but it does look like the font's in the right family, maybe slightly off. The centering on this a little off. He did use his own icon. So watch what I'm going to say. I'm going to say, it's not too shabby considering you just took a picture of that. And I don't know if you got the whole page. Can you try to make it closer? And for the demonstrative purposes here to show everybody in our audience, can you please use the actual hosted images hot linked only for teaching purposes? Also note, it seems like some of your centering and a little bit of the color on the background might be off. Try to be exact. Thank you, my friend. Now, again, without the developer tools, he doesn't have the actual values. I think he's taking a picture. And I can see here like his color, dark background. That's not pure black. But let's see if he can fix this up. Now he's got me a little bit curious. But even so, let's see some of the other elements, right? He's got the 3-column footer. Let's see. It's not too shabby. And I want to demonstrate, I want to ask you guys, demonstrate for yourself. How quickly can you make a copy? If you were to start from scratch with your favorite page builder, even using Automatic.css or using Etch, how quickly can you take something from your client that's built in something else and make it into a functional, like we're moving into a lean, clean, fast thing? Now, what I want to emphasize too, this is pure HTML, pure CSS. You cannot get faster than this. This is the dream, folks, of purely front-end output. There's no pre-processing other than inline JavaScript jQuery, maybe if there was some tools on there. There is no worry about static caching of this, at least because this is not a page with other stuff. This is just the root of what is normally spit out by the Chrome browser. So the benefit here is how fast could you really get from like, oh, a client wants to show me their pages built from 1876 into a working model, or, oh, couldn't we have a page like Apple's and do it immediately? And by the way, we can demonstrate it with the real life placeholder images purely for educational purposes, of course, but we're not kidding anybody. There's no law that says you cannot use online stuff to demonstrate and teach and to practice. So this isn't a moral issue. This is like, how else are you going to get good? Even the masters of artwork would go to see the statues in Rome and they would draw them or, you know, make sketches of them, go back and emulate them to learn how the masters did things, right? And, you know, Kevin's site here, he's a master of CSS. So this is a perfect example of like, let's see if we can emulate a page that's done properly. Okay, so what I do here is I got the two blocks. Let's see if he's done. He's still planning. He's updating the CTA. I'm going to give him another second. I didn't want to go 36 minutes, but hey, what the hell? In for a penny, in for a pound. It's already dark. My walk is a pipe dream now, unless I do it in the dark. But it's really important for me to continue to experiment and use the stuff in real world while my clients are doing it, because I can't make things better unless I'm living the dream, right? This is interesting. I don't know what's happening, but Claude is still out. He's not out because I'm using Sonnet 4.5 here. He's out from the direct desktop. And I bet you he's still live over here. So they have a variety of different ways of serving it up, but it appears on the desktop agentic model, it's out to lunch. Are you done or taking a break? Let's see. Okay, mi amigo en español is telling me completar. Okay, let's go here to, I'm in the CSS. And again, it's actually ironically faster sometimes to do it this way, because if he's doing the copy paste, he can only do it, I don't know why, line by line. I can just go lump a coal, lump a coal. Aha! Looking interesting. Now we're cooking with gas. Okay, so copy, original. Build the perfect CSS framework. Now, it's interesting because it's just such a, it seems like there's more word. The perfect CSS framework for WordPress page builders. It's such a minor thing here because I know better that there's just like a width of the section. See this thing? I think this is where it's happening. Max width 1,000. If I turn that off, I bet that will fold out. Padding. He's got this huge padding. Maybe it's the text line. One of these things here could be just slightly tweaked. And I'm not sure which one. And it would maybe unfold. Like, there it is. 0.4 rem. That's the only difference we needed. Like, just right like that difference. Now, original, Fernando. Original, Fernando. Fernando's got some kind of weird stuff in the middle with the video that's whacking him out. I don't know why he's got that video thing in the middle. Free course has started. Watch now. And then maybe he's got the feature stuff. Something confused him about that. But let's scroll down. Still a little weird with the icons, which is fine. He's got the call to action. He's got the footer. It's really close. I bet if I spent, you know, maybe I'll do a longer webinar. If I spend a little teeny bit of time, I know I could dial this in because like I just showed you, I have this very complex homepage panels and sales panels and everything else. But like otherwise, really pretty nice, really pretty nice. I mean, in terms of emulation and content and so forth, I really think that this is the future for many of my clients and myself, because I just don't need to worry now. If somebody's got some janky old site, we can pretty much go grab it, emulate it, make it HTML5, move it forward. Now, here's the magic trick. Last trick, I promise. Watch this. You did an amazing job, first of all. High fives. For closing finale. Why don't you take the Building the Perfect CSS Framework for WordPress Page Builders and change the word to, hey, ladies and gentlemen, my name's Fernando. Be sure to tip your waiters. See you next week. And then put in an image or an icon of somebody like a comedian waving goodbye. And change out the main H1 hero for that. So the new way that we do things is I don't need to get in there and get a shovel and dig a hole to show Fernando. I just learn how to talk to him and see he gets it because he's in on the joke. He's like, no problem. Let's make it an epic finale. And I'll give him a memory. I'll say, save this as, hero automatic CSS or something. I'm not going to use this again, but I'm just saying I could save it, add it to my library. In the future, I'll be like, hey, remember, when we did this thing, right? Use the hero automatic CSS. So he's saying goodbye. Be sure to tip your waiters. See you next week. And let's see what he built for us. So even though I'm manually copying and pasting it for him, it's very fast. And drum roll, please. Wait, hold on. I actually have this now, I think. Drum roll. And here we go. And that, my friends, is the future. The future is my little pal here, Fernando, who did a great job, is able to instantly do what I want him to do, change it. It still stays in the feeling and the look, the style, everything else. I don't know what people feel about this. I don't care. It is here. It's not going away. And my feeling is if you're a professional CSS designer, a web developer, anybody else, you know what you can do? Instead of being a Luddite and say, these tools are never going to help anybody, you could say, I'm going to become awesome at using these tools because now in 5 minutes, I can recreate a disaster pants Frankenstein monster of my clients into something brand new, light, fast, transportable, awesome. And I'm going to learn how to be great at these tools. And by the way, you know where you can go to get this stuff? You can come on over. And Minute Launch AI starts at $197 a month, including all of the old software, including unlimited email support, including the hosted optimized site using our Rocket, cloud-based CDN-enabled secure containers, so everything works right. So do the numbers, do the math. I actually put together a pricing table on this, which I'm going to be sharing, that shows instead of spending thousands of dollars a year on software and frustration, getting no help, you can have help from the concierge desk here at the Four Seasons on anything you want to do professionally, personally, for your clients or otherwise. These all come with affiliate revenues built in of $20, $40 and up. You've got the capability of making either hundreds of dollars from the savings on your clients, getting out of the business of maintaining code or hosting. We do all that stuff for you if you want. So if you're an agency or person, your new world is like right here. And the things that we can build for clients are remarkable because, as I mentioned to you, this is actually on a demo site that I've got a live client that has a hugely complex portal need. I built this dynamic portal that takes over what's costed them hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I built it essentially right here using the very same tools to the point where they're like, yes, please. Okay. I look forward to seeing you guys on the next live with me and Fernando. Ciao.